I am a terrible, terrible bartender. Look at what is that? Hey everyone, Chef Jeff here. Welcome to my kitchen. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the old subscribe button. Would love it if you're enjoying the videos. Hit the old like button, share, comment. I really want to start building this community of awesome food tubers. Today's recipe is going to be posted on chefgeoff.ca. Take a look at the website. Lots of great recipes archived in there. Okay, so if you want to think like a chef, you got to really brush up on your fundamentals sometimes. And there's certain skills in the kitchen that are just essential if you want to be able to be successful as a chef. And one of those is shucking an oyster. So today, with that in mind, I'm going to teach you guys how to shuck an oyster. We're going to build a citrus wheat beer mignonette. We're going to build a plate. It's going to be delicious, and I think you're going to love it. You may have noticed by now, guys, that I love cooking with beer. So with the citrus wheat beer, what we're going to do is we're going to add just a half cup of Belgian moons. This has, hang on a second, we're going to have a little sip of this, see if it's okay. It's delicious. So it's going to have citrus notes, a bit of orange, and a bit of bubblegum and sweetness to it. And what that's going to do is really add to the citrus finish that we're going to have with these oysters. So when you're reducing beer, what you want to do is reduce it by about 1/3 for this application. What that's going to do is burn off the alcohol, and it's also going to intensify the flavor of the beer. So this is only a half cup. It'll take no time at all. So I'm just going to bring this thing to a boil, let it simmer for 2 minutes, and we're good to go. So there's a couple of things when it comes to oysters that are just, you got to have it on the plate. One is horseradish. Just couldn't find any, so we're just going to take a pass on that one. Another one is some lemons. But the most important thing is a mignonette. Mignonettes are a classic condiment, and is usually just a little vinegar, a little salt, some shallots, or some kind of aromatic, and some sugar. And it's designed to have a sour finish to go with the real brininess, or the real strong umami flavor of the oyster. But we're gonna take this in a little bit of a different direction. We're gonna add the citrus and the beer flavor, and build this mignonette that's gonna have a ton of flavor in it. So first things first, I have just huge oranges. So I just cut just a little bit out of it. And what we're gonna do is I'll show you guys how to segment an orange. So what you wanna do is cut into the ribbons right here into the flesh. Cut it out. In we go. And this application will need about 4 of these. Sometimes they fight with you, sometimes they don't. Where do you think you're going? There we are. So what we're gonna do as well is we're gonna squeeze in a lot of that orange juice. And like I said, this is really gonna give it we're gonna add that citrus notes that are gonna go so well with the beer. And we're just gonna rough chop these things, just right into the bowl. Just break it up with your hands. And this is, a lot of times mignonettes don't have a lot of crunchy little components, but this one I like the idea of there being some texture to go along with your oyster. Okay, so I picked a little bit of fresh basil from my garden, and all we're doing here, it's been rinsed. I'm just gonna hand pick it right into the mignonette. Doesn't have to be super fine. We're going for a really kind of rustic style of mignonette, and it just smells so good. It's just that herbaceous basil flavor, and that's one of my favorite smells in the world, just fresh basil. Nothing like it. So mignonettes should have just a touch of heat as well. So what I'm going to do is just add just a little bit of chili flakes to it, and this is literally half of a teaspoon. There we go. So the acid component is a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I've got about 1.5 ounces in here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to need quite that much or not, so I'm going to add, that's about 1/2 ounce. And of course we've got our reduced beer. It's been reduced by half, and again this is kind of a citrus wheat beer that we're going for. And look at that, we've got a really rustic looking mignonette, and it's going to give you that nice citrus flavor, and it's going to give you a beer finish. You guys are going to love it. All right, it's time to brush up on some fundamentals, guys. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to shuck an oyster. And so these babies are Malpeques. They are from not British Columbia, that is wrong. That is, where are they from? They are from New Brunswick, okay? These are East Coast oysters tend to have a little bit more of a briny, that kind of umami flavor, versus West Coast oysters have a bit of a sweeter finish to them. So you guys are probably used to seeing one of these as an oyster shucker. We all kind of seen them all over the place, but we're not using that one today. We are going to use Patrick McMurray's patented oyster shucker. He actually is the Canadian world champion oyster shucker. He designed his own tool, and the whole idea is it gives you a little bit more grip and it gives you a little more power and a little more finesse when you're shucking the oyster. So you need a cloth. You want a nice clean cloth, and I have it just angled like this. We're going to drop it down. There's a couple of things you want to know about an oyster. You have your top hinge here, and then you have your lower bottom shell. You always want to have the lower bottom directly on because you don't want to lose that delicious, beautiful liquor that comes out of the oyster. So we're going to drop this guy down, and you want to you have the little butt, you have the hinge there. I'm going to put this right over it, and we want to angle your shucking tool inward. Oh, sometimes they fight with you. So now that I've broken the hinge, I can get this off, and all I'm doing is working along the edge. There we go. We have a connector muscle right here. We just want to remove him. We're going to save that shell. Oh, the shell, there we go. And you just want to work along the bottom connector muscle. And there you have it. So I bashed up some ice ahead of time, and you really want to have, oysters need to be served super cold, so you have some bashed ice ready to go. And I'll show you guys one more just so we can do it again. So we have our bottom area, we have our top shell. It's going to go straight down. Put this on top. What I'm doing is I'm pushing downward with a little bit of force, and I'm pushing upward. Now I'm in there. I'm going to remove the shell, and I'm just working along the hinge. Well, there's always going to be ones that fight with you guys. There we are, perfect, perfect. One more, we're gonna remove that connector muscle. Perfect. There we are, we're just gonna move it from the connector again on the bottom. Lots of that liquor just sitting right there. That's a nice looking oyster. Very nice. You gotta have fresh lemon with your oysters, guys. Some people prefer just to have lemon, but in this application, we're gonna use that Mignonette. So the lemon's gonna go down like this. Okay, guys. I'm just ready to just destroy these oysters. And so we've got our citrus wheat beer Mignonette with some fresh basil picked from the garden. We've got our Malpeque oysters, which I've shown you how to shuck. I got some beer. So my friends, from my kitchen to yours, bon appetit. This is so satisfying. Take that and that.